Not have any virtual machines within this project right now. So what I can do is I can go up to the catalog, go to the templates, and I have a whole bunch of templates available to me. And you notice here we support Windows as well as RHEL, as well as CentOS Streams and Fedora. So I'm just going to click on Fedora and I'm going to create an instance. I have several options here. I can change the disk size if I want, use the template fault, use a clone PVC. If I scroll down, I can change the CPU and memory. And so I can say 2 CPUs and the memory is 2 gigabytes. You'll notice up here at the top, it's Fedora Server Small. So there's a whole bunch of templates that are out there. These are the approved ones. I'm just going to say Fedora 01. I'm going to say create the virtual machine. And you'll notice here, it's the status is provisioning, and it's going to spin up here picture of the console. And this is just going to take just a few minutes to actually configure itself and come up. And then you'll notice I can make a copy of that and I can paste it. And then I can copy the password, and you'll notice the password's auto-generated. And I can paste that. I am in right now. If I, and you can see I'm actually logged onto the machines. I was able to very easily and very quickly generate a VM from a template, just using a standard template for standard storage, standard everything. It's defined in the template, and I was able to spin that up. So that's creating one from scratch, and we can go in here and we can look, we can see it running, we can see how much utilization. I have a little bit of dashboard available to me, the how much storage I'm using. We have the kind of the dashboard for that particular VM available. Let me show you something else here. I can go drop down and go to developer, and you can see I have a virtual machine out here running. This is kind of a topographic view that I can see how they interact with one another. So let's look a little bit now about doing a migration. I have a tab down here called migration. I have providers. Here are the providers that we support right now: vSphere, Red Hat Virtualization, OpenStack, Open Virtual Appliance, OpenShift Virtualization. So from one OpenShift environment to another. So these are all the providers, and I can create these providers. So what we did was we identified this provider. You'll notice here it's using the VMware SDK to actually do the movement. The target will be the host, which is this OpenShift cluster. So here we are in VMware. This is our little demo environment. As you can see here, user 3, I'm logged into OpenShift. We have some virtual machines out here that are defined. CentOS 8 and a little bit of storage. So what I have is a database. I have 2 Windows machines and a proxy server. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over into OpenShift again, and I'm going to move or migrate over the database and the 2 Windows servers. Okay, so going back, we have to create a plan, right? And so I'm going to create a plan, and it says select source provider. Well, my source is going to be VMware. Well, holy cow, it already knows what's out there that I could pull over. And we're going to pull the database user, and these guys. So these are the ones that we wanted to bring over. This is going to walk us through configuring a plan. So I have my storage provider. Now I need to give it a name. Now I'm just going to say move to OpenShift. And then I'm going to give it a target. Well, the target is the current host or the current cluster. Give it a namespace. Well, the namespace defaulted to the namespace that I currently have. And it already knew about the storage. I have some Ceph storage that's already defined. It already knew to do the mapping of that. The network mapping is empty, so I'm gonna click on that. And what it's doing is it's mapping network on the VMware side to the pod network. And again, the pod network, the way OpenShift configures the network is everything could possibly see everything else, but through policies, you can lock that down. I might have a route to a single application, and externally I can only go to that application. And once I get on that box, part of that application, maybe that web server or whatever, it has no capability to see anything else. So I can lock it down. Security is very tight there. But let me just show you the network. And so you'll notice this is the same network name as what we had on OpenShift. So we got everything configured. It knows where to map things, from the VMware now to OpenShift, and I create the plan. It's pretty easy, pretty simple. And now it's ready. It's already ready, and I can actually start migration. And so I click on this button, and I'm gonna start on the migration. And you'll notice here it's running 0 of 3 VMs are being migrated. I'm going to go here and I have a pipeline status over here. And you can see here it'll be chugging, and this will turn from blue to green once it finishes a stage, and it's going to go through and it's going to populate all those. So let me go in here and show you something that's kind of neat. I can go to the topology, and now I can actually see these being spun up and created to actually move the VMs from VMware into OpenShift. And as they get created and they execute, right, what's going to happen is you're going to start seeing these square boxes, that represent virtual machines, show up. The dark blue is that fully instantiated and it's executed. Going back to the administration, going back to migration, going back to plans. I want to see what's going on here. So I just click on that. And I want to look at my virtual machines and see, you can see that they're progressing. And you can see the actual disk transfer here showing up there. Still working on those Windows servers. Virtualization, virtual machines. You'll notice this one just showed up. And I can actually go into the console of the database. It's down right now, but I can start it, actions. I can start it if I wanted to. And just like I did with the other one, I can go into the console as well. There you go. And it'll be coming up. Okay, we're back as admin now, right? Machines, and I can see my virtual machines, and you can see the users. This database user has been imported, and that's the one we just brought over. You can see the performance, you can see the throughput, you can see activity, against the storage. You can see the used capacity there. It supports object storage, and it's using the NUMA interface to do that. Third-party ISV tools work well with OpenShift, and you can get additional capabilities out of it. So persistent volumes, I have these persistent volumes set up, and they're bound, and it's block storage, read-write mini, and the storage class is Ceph on this particular one. And the persistent volume claim is this, and you'll see this is Fedora, Moccasin, Swift. Everything in the system is defined by YAML, templates, the storage, persistent volume. So you'll have a kind here. The power behind that is I can create any object through a command line. So whatever I can do, actually more, whatever I can do through the screen, I can do through a command line, and even more so. Persistent volume claims. And so if I have a persistent volume, I make a claim against that volume. And then that can be used against, that can be used in my migration, and I can use that. This is some of the storage that was used in the migration, using that claim. It's interesting here too, is that you have events as well in all this. So as I use this stuff, I have an events tab to actually see blow by blow what's happening to that particular object within OpenShift. So there's metrics on utilization. You get your utilization, memory, time ranges every 5 minutes, 1 day or whatever. CPU, I have storage rewrites, network interface. That's what you get on this. Going to the next tab, this is the definition of this particular virtual machine. So everything is defined by a YAML file. YAML file is just a character-based file. It's positional and character-based. It defines what this machine looks like. If we wanted to change CPU or memory, we could do that. I believe on the fly. Let's see what we got here. And going back to overview, oh, it's already done. So events, I can see all the events. I can go to the console, and then we also can take a snapshot. I can name the snapshot, and then diagnostics, and it just gives me a heads up on the status, the logs.